For music lovers like us, a dream is often about going to a coveted concert or meeting a musician hero of ours. And boy, have I been living that dream. One of the voices I'd heard for years while growing up was that of the legendary American radio host Casey Kasem, a personality we know more popularly as Casey Kasem. Particularly impressionable as a novice radio host, I was the proverbial fanboy at a radio conference in San Francisco back in 1999. Thrilled, of course, to be meeting a legend of Kasem's stature. Hello there, this is your buddy Brian Tellis with yet another edition of Live That Dream. When Kasem, along with three others, launched the weekly radio program American Top 40 on the 4th of July, I remember 1970, the format of Top 40 radio was losing its fan base to shows that played more album-oriented progressive rock. Kasem and his ilk created American Top 40 as a countdown based on the Billboard Hot 100 weekly chart. Kasem took it a step further and introduced various interesting tidbits about artists, chimed in throwbacks, and turned the radio listening experience into a deeply intimate one. One of the elements that his listeners loved was the long-distance dedication segment, when Kasem would read out letters from listeners and dedicate songs to their loved ones who lived away from them. Kasem, using the power of music and his magical ability to reach out to his listeners, became a part of so many lives. So when I became a radio host at the turn of 93-94, I had no formal training or experience in the industry, but I never forget how Kasem made me feel when I heard him on radio. I mean, that ability resonated with me. When I eventually met him in San Francisco, I was completely and totally bowled over by how gracious he was with me and how generous he was with his time. I had mentioned to him that I left a full-time airline career to join radio because I was very passionate about music and the radio experience. Well, he impressed on me that the joys and benefits of following your passion go way beyond the apparent, and that although it would feel like I had taken a risk, the returns, he said, would eventually far outweigh the sacrifices. One thing that Kasem said really stayed with me for life. It continues to be my guiding principle of creating content and being present on radio. He said that while there may be millions of listeners, one needs to speak directly to an unseen individual listener. Like in theater, he reminded me, as he knew it was an analogy I would understand, you see the face of one person and you talk to them. That way your connection is direct and undistracted. Man, what a humongous piece of advice that completely changes how your audience bonds with you. Kasem was in no hurry to stop our conversation, thrilled that he was, to make the India link with his son Mike Kasem. Mike, if you remember, was part of the MTV Asia crew that brought MTV to India in the early stages and became a household name for an entire generation that was being introduced to video jockeys. And just like that, our conversation concluded, blessed as I felt for Kasem's wisdom. For years, he would sign off his American Top 40 with the masterful advice, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. That day, I knew all of me was floating about with joy. So until the next time, folks, don't forget to live that dream.
94.3 Radio 1.